Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 19th of July. So let's start looking at the risk events that are due out today. If I get the right page, it'll be good, and it's not that one. So let's just go to the calendar and look at what's left today, I should say. In fact, I can manage from here. So we've got the monetary policy minutes. They've already been released. Not really setting the world alight, although slightly positive. Bank of England Bailey speaking 4 p.m. Okay, later today, and then Brainard speaking at 7:35. Really nothing there that's Bailey may create some volatility later on due to speak at the Mansion House Financial Professional. That can, whenever we've seen a Bank of England speaker speaking at such, can create some volatility. So expect that later this evening, that or afternoon, late afternoon. I should think most people will be done for the day by then. And then tomorrow it's really looking for inflation. That's the key thing, is the UK inflation, which will be coming out at 7 o'clock in the morning. So for most it will have already happened by the time you get up, or the time you're at the machines. So yeah, key day. I mean, really looking forward to then, and I would expect it to probably slow down tomorrow as the euro as we go to the ECB meeting. Okay, that's pretty much it for the news wise there. Let me just check the calendar on here, because it does bring up a few more details here sometimes. Yeah, we've got German foreign minister speaking at 12. Eurozone final inflation doesn't really normally do anything unless it's moved at all, but it's very little. Yeah, then 3 o'clock. I mean, you've got the US permits, housing starts, etc. May be becoming a little bit more of a thing, as people, and particularly housing starts there, may be becoming a bit more of a thing there at 1:30. So we do have a bit of information there, or data that's being released. And that is one of the the things when you start increasing interest rates, etc. It starts slowing the housing market down generally. So it'll be interesting to see what the outlook is there. As I say, the rest we've got pretty much listed. ECB speaker at 3. Right, let's crack on. Let's look at these markets, and starting off with the euro dollar. Well, the euro dollar pushing up at the moment. Again, it's weird. I was looking at it. I forget the right market. There we go. 60 minutes. What I wanted. I was looking at it on this time frames a short while ago, and well, it's an interesting one. It dipped quite low and held quite low for a while there. So it does make me wonder if it'll run out of gas a little bit. We'll see post 8 o'clock if whether it can continue its momentum. It's possible, certainly possible. That momentum will continue to that upside, but as I say, as we move towards the ECB conference, things I'm sure will slow down towards Thursday. For now though, well, it is pushing that way. It seems the right route of least resistance for now, at least until we actually hit the resistance there into yesterday's highs, maybe the R1. So say maybe a bit more upside, just a little suspicious of the data over the price action there, I should say. Pound, well, pound, it too has had its retrace. I mean, it's quite common through all these markets. We've seen some sort of retracement. Again, quite a deep retracement. And the question is, can it go up and hit the highs there, or is it going to fall short and roll over? At the moment, looking positive, and certainly looked pretty positive most of yesterday, right up till the market started rolling back there at 4 o'clock. So we'll see what happens there. But at the moment, looking erring on this sort of short-term bullishness. It has broken, of course, some major trends. So major trend line there for now, at least. Dollar yen well, it's still within this significant trend line, major trend line there, but it is heading for it, coming down towards it. So less of a correction the other way. We saw the move. In fact, it's strengthening here this morning, as opposed to what it had been doing was softening. It softened all through yesterday when the other markets were getting stronger. It was a sort of a typical risk on sort of factor when we normally see the yen sold. At the moment, possibly a bit suspicious here. It's going the other way. It's going the way it should do if the dollar's being sold, I guess. Slightly weaker. Okay. We don't want to be trading it. It has got some scope as we look down there. We were talking about this yesterday, I think it was, and looking at it, and well, has got scope, and it's got more scope now. It's broken those lows. Okay, that's pretty much it. It might be on the sell list. Aussie dollar. Well, we've seen the news out. We've seen the reaction. A bit of upside already, back up to yesterday's highs there, and again another one that's broken its sort of key trend line there. It's how long can they hold on to where they are at the moment. This in fact is giving us a nice trend line running across these lows here, so got this rather nice. If it will stay there, would be good. Oh, yes, stay there, or somewhere around about there. Anyway, need to adjust that, but somewhere in that region, we got that point where it could find some support later, but that's certainly a key trend line. Anything breaking below that would look a bit more bearish again. But for now, it's pushing up there. How long for? It's another matter of all these markets. Canadian dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar. Well, the Canadian dollar's just showing its strength here against the US, and again that same sort of retracement, and now we're heading back southbound, so it would appear. And another one that's sort of gone through its pivot. If you inverted this, it'd be looking very similar to the pound and the euro. At the moment, it seems that risk is still on, and these are all back on, and we'll see how things go. For me, looking at the CAD, if it was to break back above the 34 here, well, okay, they've got the 50 in resistance above it, but if it breaks above that, well then, well, we'll start getting higher lows, and could be returning back the other way. So there are some things to watch out for here. Why am I going there? Let's go on to gold. So coming back to gold, and it's barely looking anything. It still looks very, very bearish to me. It's sitting it there on its monthly S3. Yeah, well, it tried yesterday, never really managed, did it? It's just sold whilst everything else was flying along. Yeah, just dancing around there really. It's got a scope for coming up some more. It's got the pivot just above it. Temptation would be, if you was looking to trade this, would be to short it. Still looking soft compared to the others, if it breaks down, that is. Okay, nothing much to add there. It's usual to see usual to see a stronger price in gold when the dollar's being hit, just as we're seeing here the stronger price in oil with a softer dollar. The price of oil being reflecting this. Just come out a little bit here to dailies first. It's still in that sort of lower high, lower low sort of situation. Whether this is going to actually break and give us a bit more upside, we'll see. I was expecting it to run on through yesterday. It did run through the afternoon there, breaking, really pushing up at 2 o'clock on the US market when the cash market opened there. Really gave it a kicker, but slowing down where it is here. Got a daily pivot below. Any sell-off towards that might give you another opportunity on the buy side, but it's just pulling back more frequently, which just shows weakness. Okay, changing markets, looking at the wrong one. There we go. Let's look at before we look at the indices, quick look at the cryptos as ever, and we've seen a bit of a retracement already this morning, still in range. Some of these retracements are less. We had much more of a push on Ethereum in the end yesterday, pushing up some more. Binance did well yesterday. Ripple still down there below the prior lows here. There's certainly some that are looking better than others on potential changes there in terms of the infrastructure, but really most of them, it's really Binance and Ethereum that are leading the way a little bit more and showing the best promise, but the others, well, still look very bearish. These are sort of given higher lows and looking a slightly bit more bullish at the moment and looking to change things. Okay, moving across then, and finally into the indices. So the indices, CSI 300, the Shanghai. So what's it doing? Well, selling overnight there, not doing too much at all. Yesterday it did push up there, looked more positive, but it's given most of that back today. Still looking quite soft here. And the Nikkei, well, gapped up, has gapped up back into its sort of resistance area around that 2705-ish area, 06 area. It's not far off. So resistance there will be a key test to see if it can break through it tomorrow. The Nifty 50, another bullish day. Is breaking, confirming higher lows through here, just edging its way to the upside. Most likely before we see another drop, but it's positive at the moment. S&Ps, well, that had a really game of two halves yesterday, and with Apple's suggestion that they were going to be reducing staff, etc., it was quite pessimistic then for the afternoon, and we saw most of the equity markets retracing somewhat, and the S&Ps followed suit. Dow Jones likewise, as did the Nasdaq there. No surprises there to see it all running through. I'm looking at this now and starting to see something a little bit maybe clearer in terms of what it's setting up here. Oops, need another line back on. So we're certainly in that sort of wedge pattern there. Now for me, I would only be looking for the sell side of this on the break of the lows. So if it does go the other way, it goes the other way. But in the bigger picture with a wedge consolidation, it gives me a clearer sort of picture to the downside at some point there. Moving across to the CAC. Well, it pitched up into the pivot yesterday, but really back into price range. It's got scope for it to continue in that way today. That will be the key test of this market, but it has just range bound, range traded for a long time. The DAX been a little bit more clearer here, but it has put a higher low in, but immediately turned around yesterday, same as most of these markets. FTSE stayed the best of these, but it too is in this sort of very clear range here, with the there we go, just opening here. Very clear range kicking through, running into between its monthly pivot and these lows are around the 70-20 area ish. Okay, be expecting the way these other markets are falling for a bit more downside maybe. Right, that is it. So I remain overall bearish on the equity markets. The dollar may still be getting a bit more of a hit as we're running through this morning. Got to just be a bit careful there. We could see something more to the downside though. I'm still sitting there overall bearish on these major currencies against the dollar. Have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.